parents, when they deal with a sick child, they're desperate. They want to do anything possible to make sure their kid is okay. In this case, the result was absolutely devastating. 13-year-old Edgar Lopez died after a California herbalist advised him to treat diabetes with herbs instead of insulin. This is a young child who had been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and type 1 diabetes, your pancreas does not make any insulin. And when you don't make any insulin, we just mentioned diabetic ketoacidosis can be a very potentially dangerous ailment. Well, in this case, the herbalist reportedly advised the parents that had been prescribed insulin for their son, said the insulin was poison. He instructed them to, again, reportedly rub the son's spine with lavender oil, and gave an herbal product for the pancreas that was supposed to improve blood sugar levels. What really is, to me, devastating about this story is that it sounds like it was very clear that their son was slowly getting worse and worse. When Edgar died, only 68 pounds, and ended up dying of a cardiac arrest. And the medical examiner said that the child would have survived if given proper care. It's so sad because you put your faith into healers. And look, you can have a medical degree and be a bad doctor. You can be a great doctor. You can be an herbalist and be a good herbalist, or a bad herbalist. When we use the term healer, I want everyone to really think about what that means, because a lot of people are charlatans. In fact, the people who claim to be the greatest healers out there are also the greatest charlatans. So be very careful when an individual says to you, you know what, that insulin is poison. Insulin, just so everyone understands, is something our bodies naturally produce. There are a lot of drugs out there that I have some issues with. But if you're a type 1 diabetic, you need insulin.
You literally need
You
insulin.
need it.
Yeah.
And this makes me sad because, what do you think about this? The herbalist was sentenced to 4 months in jail.
4 months. I think, I don't understand that. It makes me angry and sad and frustrated that that's a possibility, that he could only get 4 months.
And the mom testified that the herbalist seemed, quote unquote, like a god. And so you can understand, we were debating backstage whether or not the parents, should they have been held liable, and that was our initial response. But then again, and I agree, but then again, you take a step back, and if the mom truly felt like the healer was like a god, you can, as a parent, become so transfixed with these charlatans because they give this air of brilliance, and they're so convincing, and the parents have lost their child. I have trouble with only a 4-month sentence. Yeah. Whether or not the parents should be punished, I'm going to leave that to a different conversation. But if your job as a healer is to prevent your patient from being sick, certainly from dying, and you're giving them sham treatments, I may be going too harshly there, but it feels like murder.
No, I agree. I don't think you're being harsh. It is. I think you have to be really careful. And I always tell my patients, you know, as a doctor, it's not my job to make a decision for you. It's just my job to make sure you are well informed. And so if you are choosing not to go the traditional medicine route, then that's your right. But I would encourage you to make sure you're doing your research and make sure, if the person that you are trusting is saying this is what you need to do, see what scientific studies prove that it's safe and it's effective.
The problem that we have in healthcare right now is that a lot of times people who have been educated in one field actually practice outside of their lane. And when you as a parent ask for advice, or maybe you go to the healer and say, I'd love to get a second opinion, typically the charlatans don't want you interacting with other healthcare providers, and you become very isolated. You're in their little silo, and then that's when damage is done. So be aware, any provider of any sort who tries to prevent you from seeing other providers, no. Walk away. It's just not worth it. In this case, may Edgar's soul rest in peace, because he died and he didn't need to at way too early of an age.